Greetings. Welcome to the Growth Hacking Show, where we bring financial advisors, coaches, consultants, founders, presidents of the company, and senior entrepreneurs and share their experiences of their missteps to avoid for your success and their top success secrets, how you can grow your business. In case you don't know me, my name is Mohammed Siddique. I am the host of Growth Hacking Show and the co-author of New Success Secrets, which is available on Amazon. And on this episode, my special guest from Chicago is Cory Shepard. He is the advisor, financial advisor, of course, certified financial advisor, and the president of the company, and a co-host of a very popular podcast helping other physicians, doctors, executives of the businesses to actually manage their money in a little bit different way than not another financial advisor. You want to watch it because one thing is to make money, and mostly people are good at it. Doesn't matter how hard you work on it. And the real part is when your money starts working for you, so that way you can actually earn the financial freedom. Until your money starts working for you, it's very hard, almost rare to actually have the lifestyle you ever desired in your life, even in a business or a personal level. In that regard, I have no other than please join me to give a warm welcome to Cory Shepard. Cory, welcome.
Siddique, thank you. Would you like to come do our marketing? I think you tell our story very well.
Thank you, Cory. Let me start with this. You are so special. We really want to know your story. Where were you? What happened? Who you were surrounded with that inspired you to get into giving a financial advice to others? Because most of the financial advisors are not very successful.
Mm-hmm. So. Yes, that's true. There's a lot of financial advisors, but not a lot of people that you may want to take financial advice from. And so my story, I was one of those annoying people that in college knew exactly what they wanted to do with their life. And I was working for a financial firm in Seattle even before I left school, and then transitioned to them full time. But then when 2008 came around, I like to say that their salary cap was shrinking right as my salary cap was growing. And so it was, there wasn't a lot of room for me there because I was new enough that I really wasn't an advisor bringing revenue into the firm. So I had to go and find my own way. And they're still great friends of mine and have been mentors, and they helped me in every possible way. 2008 was just a very difficult time for everyone in the business. And that led me to opening my own practice, which had a couple of different names and a couple of different logos on the business card over the years, but I still have clients from my very early days that have moved with me in all the different iterations that I've been through. And been working with my business partner, Paul Adams, in our firm Sound Financial Group for, about 6 years now. And I just moved to Chicago because my wife, who is a doctor, finished med school, got a residency at Lurie Children's Hospital in downtown Chicago. And so I made that move with her. Now, part of what we did in our business is about 4 years ago, not coincidentally, when she started med school, made a switch to say, if someone doesn't want to meet with us online, then they're probably not our client. So we only meet with our clients online via Zoom meeting, just like we're meeting now. And that is so that if we have an opportunity in our lives or they have an opportunity in their lives, just needing to move doesn't require them to start over with a new financial advisor. And so it's been a very cool transition. I am the Midwest outpost of a Seattle-based company and running my part of the business from here. And it's been wonderful.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You mentioned about your wife. Because of your wife, you moved to Chicago, and now you're helping her to give advice like a charity starts at home. Your financial advice kind of starts at home. How that goes, especially when you're working with this loved one, is very hard because that requires some challenges. Emotional things comes in because when you're making a decision on money, sometimes it has to be non-emotions.
So I'll tell one on myself, Siddique. The only time that I've been the reason that my wife is crying when we're in conversation is when we've talked about money. And it's been a while, but it was some of our early conversations And the reason was that I didn't give her the space or treat her with the grace that I would a client. And I rushed some things. So it was a really great lesson for me about why we do the things that we do with our clients and walk them through an educational process so that they understand every step, they feel comfortable with it. I kind of tried to take the path of, honey, you know, like you're in medicine, you're going to know that. I know the money stuff. Let's just do this. But she wanted to understand it, which makes all the sense in the world. And so it's really helped us come a long way in our relationship and how we deal with money, but it really helped me understand that there's a reason why money is most often cited as the reason couples have to disagree or have problems. And so if there's a married couple that wants to work with us, we will only work with them together, because that's the only way that's going to be supportive. And if we're just working with one of them, we're going to be creating a problem down the line. And that doesn't fit our standard of care. Mm-hmm. So it does start at home, but it's been built. It's been a long process in being able to treat my wife just as well as a client.
Okay, so that leads to my question. Usually I don't ask a personal question. However, this may be interesting one because you have your wife as your client. Mostly the couples like husband and wife are, couple, they argue on quote unquote money. And now your money is already taken care of as a client part. What things you argue on these days anyway? What else is left?
Oh gosh, what do we argue about? Well, my sister.
Before you answer it, be human, okay? Don't say that, we don't argue on anything. So,
No, well, so I am, my sister, we make my sister nervous when we're all spending time together because she says, oh, you two are arguing again. But we're not. We have a very direct communication style. And so arguments are frequent, but short and don't create a divide in the relationship. Like, we disagree all the time, but we always take the stance that, there's a problem right here in the middle, and the two of us are on the same side with the problem, not on opposite sides of the problem. And that makes all the difference in the world. So whether it's where we're going to go for dinner or, where this chair should go in the house.
Oh my God.
Plenty of those, but we're on the same side of the problem.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for answering this personal question on a professional call. Okay, thanks. So, based on your experience, Cory, as we move along, what are the top 3 missteps people should avoid when they're building their business, especially growing their business?
And so, I'd like to answer this. I thought about this in a way that applies to our company directly, but would really allow anyone who's running any kind of service-based company to think about it in the same way. And the first mistake is accepting the wrong contracts or agreements. In any company, you're going to have vendors, you're going to have any kind of relationship that may have some kind of agreement, and it's got to have the provisions that let both sides be powerful and have good exits. And Paul and I, in our history, we essentially had a franchise agreement with a financial institution, if you will. And that contract, we knew technically the whole time that it gave them the ability to basically end it at will for any reason. But we always thought all we had to do was perform, and they would have no reason to. Well, we created more profit in the state we were in than that company had ever had in that state, and yet somewhat out of the blue, the contract was terminated a few years ago. And we've searched our souls to think, like, why did this happen? The best we can come down with is a political misstep by my partner with the wrong person 3 years prior that then rose to power to be making decisions about us at just the wrong time. And, but even after that, the lesson learned, we continued to produce results for that company under a new contract, different kind of contract, for the next couple of years, which actually, what we didn't think about it this way, but it proved to be a very valuable move, because when a few different people started to try to create rumors about maybe malfeasance on our part, we were able to say, well, this is the most conservative industry out there as far as regulation. This company is very conservative. If we had done any wrongdoing that created that rift, they would never have let us continue to do business with them, but we have. So, there's ways out of it to resurrect the situation, but always know what kind of contract you're creating and the exits and the powers shift that happen, because you never know when that'll come in to impact your business in a big way.
One more. Don't hide. You only gave us 2.
I think that was only one, the contract. So number 2 is, giving away work for free. And, we, in the model that we were in, we were very focused on growth. We went from about 2 advisors to 30 plus advisors and probably 42 people total in the firm in just 3 or 4 years. And in that model, we thought we had to create a system where a brand new advisor with very little experience could go out and attract new people. And charging money on the front end didn't really feel like it was a viable option. So we created a system where we essentially did a lot of spec work, spend time with clients, multiple meetings, create strategies, and hope that we got accounts out of it. Well, after this big change, we don't do that anymore. We charge on the front end so that the client knows that they're getting advice straight from us and they're the one paying us for that advice, no one else. We have a clear relationship, and we don't spend time with people that don't value our time. And so it's just a more powerful interaction and transaction. And I think a lot of businesses might feel they need to give a lot away, and have your marketing tool, your free giveaway to get an email address or something like that. But for your work and your primary offer, value it, and other people will value it as well. And then, the third quick one is just building a business based on someone else's ambitions instead of yours. We built in that model that we thought worked for the contract we had with that company. And, if we had built from the beginning something based around our main ambitions, which is really freedom. I wanted the freedom to move with my wife and be where I needed to be. My partner has a lot of the similar kind of values. If we had built that from the beginning, the outcome may have been very much the same. The company still may have had the problem with us, but we would have been left with the core of what we already wanted instead of having to restart from ground zero. So I think always build towards your own ambitions.
Very, very, very valuable lesson. Thank you so much for sharing. So now we don't have to do these mistakes. We learn from you. So
Right.
Thank you, Cory. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
So let's switch to the other side of the coin. What are your top 3 success secrets for your financial business growth? And maybe some from your clients, like as aggregated, top 3.
Okay, so the first one is to create a breakdown for which you're the only possible solution. Meaning when you're making an offer out in the marketplace, it's not easy, but you're at the same time showing people a problem that they didn't realize that they have and helping them see that you're the one to solve it. So that is what we do with our client offer, is show them where the financial industry may have been failing them. And oh, by the way, here's how we could help you solve it. So I think that's huge, because when you do that, you aren't working hard to bring people into you every step of the way. You're just worried about getting the message out and people find their way back to you. I think that's number 1. And then number 2, it kind of follows that vein, is we made our initial client conversation a value add to anybody. Meaning whatever way you have to make your offer introduce people to what you do, make it something that everyone could gain value from, and they don't have to worry about being the perfect customer for you to want to spend time with you. So we do meet with people very freely, not knowing anything about them financially. We don't pre-qualify people a lot before our very first meeting, but we have it online, so it's easy for folks to get to us. And if it ends early, no big deal. We didn't drive an hour across town in traffic, and neither did they. But if it's made it very easy for clients to introduce people to us, because our promise is there's no risk to that meeting, there's no pursuit of those people afterward, and there's value in that conversation. Whether or not we talk again, you will learn new things about money and finances to make you a more astute consumer of the financial industry, and get great questions to ask your financial advisor if you already have one. That's a promise. Then the other promise is that we don't chase you. So at the end of that first meeting, there's no offer to be made. We're not going to ask them to buy anything or sign up for anything. We're just going to give them the choice to apply as a client. If they say no, then great, we're done, and we're not going to be hounding them, following up. We just don't think that that's valuable for anybody. They'll get emails about our podcast if they ask for it, but that's about it. And so they get to have the power of choosing where to go from that conversation. And Siddique, we've had people time and time again, whether they worked with us or not, that said that we teach the things that we teach in that meeting. They say, I knew the financial industry had to be this way. I just couldn't find anyone willing to say it. And so it's a very powerful educational piece, gives value, and then it creates positive gossip about us. And that's really huge for growing without having to work really, really hard.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Now you finally cracked the code of building relationships with their pace, with the client pace as they want to grow, because there's a big shift in your industry. Don't get me wrong. The trust level is very, very low.
Mm-hmm.
We all have the experience of working with a financial advisor where we didn't get what we wanted from them, or the results were very poor, whatever it could be, or some wrong mistakes. Mistakes happen in their choices of the what type of funds are being recommended to them based on the more commission they're going to make on the other side versus what's good for the client based on where the situation is. I'm not pointing. I'm just pointing standard stuff.
No, it's true. This is the problem. And we're, Paul and I both grew up in very traditional financial environments. And so, a lot of our career now is repenting and helping people repent. And I mean that it's actually the Greek military word that's the root of what we use today. And it means, as an army, if you get lost, go back to the last point where you knew where you were and then figure out where to go from there. And so that's what we both had to do in our career, is realize, oh, the things that we're doing aren't quite helping as much. Let's back up to the point we knew was really helpful, and then rebuild from that. And that's what we've done. So it doesn't offend me at all for you to say that there's some problems with the financial industry.
In fact, and bigger the problem is, bigger it creates the opportunity, and that's how you can set yourself apart from everyone else. Mm-hmm. So as we move along, how you are growing your business right now in this economy?
Well, this economy is very good. It's funny, I've been in the worst economy that we've had in the last 20 years, yeah, and now in the best economy that we've had. And there's always value to be added. We're focusing on a couple of different things. And first and foremost, even with technology, people are still people. And they still enjoy connecting with a person, and someone that's staying in touch and helpful to calling on the phone is still a helpful reality check and a break from the busyness of life. So the old school talking to our clients, asking for introductions is still there. I don't think it's ever going away. Although for us, I was raised with a lot of bad habits in the business. One of them was to say to clients, well, there's two ways that I get compensated. One is, you pay me for business, but then the other is compensated in introductions. And that just doesn't sit well for me, because the value the client gets should be what we do to help them. That should be the value trade-off. And then this other introductions thing, that's not about them. But for us, introductions are actually part of our promise to help them. Because if we help them get down the road to satisfaction in life, 20 years later, they have everything they want, they're happy and where they want to be, but no one else that they care about is with them, their friends, their family didn't make it, then we didn't really do our job for them. So our job is to help them get what they want out of their life. And part of that is making sure the right people come along with, and that they have a community that helps them get to where they want to go. So when we talk introductions, it's just part of our process and agreement to help them. And yes, it does also grow our business, but that's secondary to the main offer that we're making to our client. So taking a step from there, we also are using our podcast as definitely a part of our marketing strategy. And it's not like, we have a great listener base. We probably have north of 10,000 subscribers. But it's not like there's 20 people calling us on the phone every day because they've listened to the podcast. However, the value and credibility, just like writing a book, having that podcast there to, I get into a conversation with someone at a dinner party and it starts to get a little too technical. And I say, well, we're at a party. It's probably not the best place to talk about this, but let me text you an episode of our podcast, listen to that, and then let's talk next week. It's an amazing value and extension of who we are. So we're really looking at how technology can help an advisor extend their effectiveness and, act with the energy of multiple people all at once when we're just, one person.
Wonderful. That's amazing. So, Cory, running a business is a roller coaster. Sometimes it's going up and sometimes it's going down. You already indicated in the start, so you can transition many times. So that leads to my question is, how you keep going when you feel down in your business?
Yeah.
What keeps you going?
Well, we definitely have a company that is, the two of us, Paul and I, both are very much grounded in a faith in something bigger than us. And for anybody, no matter what your background, I think that's a very powerful thing to have, whatever that does mean for you, and to know that we don't control everything. So what we like to say is that I like to acknowledge chaos and act with preference, meaning the world is a random place. No matter how hard I work, how smart I get, I don't really control the outcomes of the things I do. All I can control is my actions. So acknowledge that, but then act with the preference in mind. So here's what I do want. Here's the outcome I would like. I'm going to take the actions in that direction and acknowledge that it may not happen all at once. It may not, life happens in cycles. It's very natural. It's very biological for the ebb and flow and the rhythm to go up and down. So we just acknowledge that this current hardship is a blessing. I maybe can't tell how it's a blessing right now, but I'll find out eventually. And in the meantime, I'm just going to keep acting and keep moving forward. The only failure is stopping, and everything else is
only failure is stopping. Never give up. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
So as we are about to wrap up, Cory, what would you say as a final word?
So, I would say that hard work is not the answer. It's the ante. Meaning there's, you go on LinkedIn, you're going to see all kinds of motivational statements and get out there and work hard. And you certainly have to have some hustle, but we're really not working in a linear world anymore. So just muscling yourself through from day to day is not the way to do it. I like to say that 10% growth is harder than 100% growth. And you've got to not get into a hard work contest. You don't want to be in a smartness contest with other people. You want to be in I'm going to change the world and create a unique spot for myself where no one else is kind of contest. And it's working smart just as much as it is hard.
Wonderful. Working smart. Thank you so much, Cory Shepherd, for sharing your wisdom with us today on the behalf of Growth Hacking Show community and our entire team. We really appreciate you. So you have been watching this so far, and I'm sure you want a financial advice for your own money working for you. And Cory mentioned that he wants to meet people online, just like online we are meeting together, and get a financial advice and get a value, so that way you can actually start introducing your friends to him that he will do it for his own selfish reason, and you will do it for your own selfish reason because you want to bring along your own very close friends in circle, so everyone grow together. So this is Mohammed Siddique signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, wishing you good luck, good sales, and I do have a path across again with another amazing guest. Until then, all best wishes.